here we go. So, well, this is basically a new navigation option we have implemented. So this is the sample file we created. This is already public for you to access. And as you can see, this component consists of first a controller, which is created with 2 buttons. And these 2 buttons need to be stateful components. So in this case, the state is implemented with variants. So only one of them is active each time. And then how this feature works is you create one, separate screens for each of the buttons. So in this case, we have 2 buttons. So we create here the 2 screens that show the content for the tab, and also here, so we need to create the links to each of those screens, and that's how it works. So I will actually share my phone now, so you can see how it looks like. There we go. So right now I'm in the expenses tab. So I will press on income, and as you can see, you have this animation that basically makes it slide to the other page you create here. In this case, we didn't do any bindings, so this is static data, but you can also bind APIs, for instance, a list from the database or whatever you want. It basically works like a normal screen. The difference is that in the real app, it will only be one screen that you can navigate with these tabs, and that's basically it. It's pretty simple to set up, so if you want to give it a try and let us know, that would be great.
One question, Javier. So I mean, the way it's set up, you've got like 2 screens, you've got expense and income. Are they treated like as separate requests? So for example, if you click on expenses, will it make a request before it moves the screen across? So what I'm basically saying is this a way that you can kind of update part of the screen without having to refresh the entire screen? Yeah,
so I mean, I would say it works like a basically normal other bindings. In this case, this is not bound, so it's static, so it doesn't need any API call, but it would work like it will send any request needed once, and then it basically will switch between the 2 screens and display that data.
So in theory, it could be a slightly better UI than having the whole screen refresh if it's just updating the expenses part. So in theory, the sort of top part won't refresh. It will just refresh the sub part, which could be quite a nice way of making it feel a bit more dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. So it works kind of like an iframe. And it would basically improve a bit the user experience, and especially the performance of the app in this case.
Very cool.
Okay, so well, that was it. So I will stop my screen, and now William, if you have any question for us that we can help with, we'll be happy to do that.
Yeah, sure. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, fine.
Hey, so so for that particular feature, are you able to use it with technically an infinite amount of screens? So could I have 10 different tabs?
Well, in theory you could. However, it might be a bit tricky in terms of UX, because the controller needs to be in the same sort of horizontally aligned, you know. So it would be maybe a bit annoying if you have like too many of them. But But in theory, there is no limitation. You can have as many as you want.
And just can we? Because like my question is, can we connect that to we can't connect it to an API, right? Because it has to be the variants. Yeah. You can or you can't. Sorry.
Well, I mean, you mean the controller?
Yeah, the controller. So you can have like a variable number of tabs. That's the.
No, you need to define them statically, because you need to create the components one by one.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, William, I kind of interrupted your questions.
No, that's fine. No. He answered my question, so yeah.
Okay.
Are you answering any kind of questions from?
Yeah,
this
I
point
mean,
forward?
Yeah,
we can use this time to help you. So
Well, I have kind of a weird, like, I don't really know how to navigate a current issue that I have. So I kind of want to have a page lock behind a functionality. So the idea is I want a user to have to sign almost like a terms of service before they're able to take part in the transaction. So the idea is they hit the button in order to log themselves into the transaction, and then it'll immediately go to the next page, which is them having to agree to a terms of service.
okay.
And then if they choose to ignore the terms of service, it'll still bring them to the next screen, which is the review summary. And I want to have almost like a stateful component that shows them that they have not signed the document. And if they haven't signed the document, that they're not able to take part in the transaction and they're not able to continue. So I just want to know if maybe you have any thoughts about how I should navigate something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you have two options. But in case you want to do it, I mean, a bit more like custom, so you, for instance, show or navigate the user to another screen if they didn't accept the terms, you can use the conditional actions feature. So how this works is you would have a form with the checkbox that they need to mark, and then you would have like a submit action to the database. And you could use the data you submitted to create a condition. So in this case, if the checkbox is set to false, so if they didn't mark it, you can make them navigate to a screen saying, hey, you need to accept the terms. And if they do accept the terms, so the data in this case is true, then you could bring them to the actual page for the transaction or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And
so
I can do that through the Bravo if then conditional statements. Yeah.
So you have basically the conditional action is like another response that you can add to a submit action. So you have, after submit, you can display a model, you can go to another page, you can refresh the page, and there is another one which is create a conditional action. And here you can use like if else conditionals and play with that in order to navigate the user to one part or another one.
Right. And then to just piggyback off of that, because I don't want to take too much time from you, but how do you recommend for me to navigate the whole stateful component type deal, where if I wanted to have it say, if the document is signed, it'll have like a green light saying, okay, they've signed the document, they're able to, continue through. And if they haven't signed it, it'll have like a red light saying, they're not able to continue through. How would I navigate that?
You mean like having that element in the same screen that they need to like?
Yeah.
Okay.
So right after, if they accepted it, it'll bring them to the next screen that says they've signed it. And then if they haven't signed it, it'll bring them to the same screen saying that they haven't.
Okay. I see. So I would say here you can also use conditional visibility. So you could have a red sort of UI element that you either display or not, depending on a condition from the backend. So in this case, actually, you might not even need you would need actually you would still need the conditional action, because if the user doesn't accept the terms, then you don't want them to navigate to another screen.
Exactly.
You want them to stay in the same one. So you can specify that if they didn't accept the terms, basically you would, instead of navigating to another screen, you would refresh the same screen. And then at the same time, you need to send from the backend condition, well, a data that displays that red UI element, saying that they need to accept the terms. So you will need to manage to, in the same response that you get after sending the form, you would also need to return that data that you bind to this component and display it. I would say that's the solution you can try, because we don't have like sort of front-end validations for the forms. So you need to make it work with the backend somehow. So we do have like both the conditional actions and the conditional visibility that you can control from the backend. So you can try to do that.
Yeah, I'll definitely try that. Thanks so much. I mean, because it's hard for me to, like, I understand now that you laid it out that way, but you know, I couldn't really visualize that path towards that. So thanks so much, man. I really appreciate that.
Sure. Also, like, I mean, I will write here our support email. Maybe you have it already, but in case you encounter like any issue when trying to set it up, you can let us know, and hopefully we can help you.
Okay. Thanks again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, so Toby, it seems like we didn't really have anyone else, right? So
not too busy today, I guess.
Not too busy.
It's getting near Christmas, and people are not they don't have so many brother problems at the moment, so they're not too busy. I guess one thing I should mention is that we probably need to have an article that sort of talks about using conditional visibility to manage state in the back end. Where they can show multiple different states, because I think people kind of they fall into just using variants to manage state, to display state, but actually you can, by stacking them and then having conditional visibility, you can actually have multiple states with conditional visibility. Although it's not an obvious thing to kind of think about. It's quite a powerful tool if you use it in the right way. But yes, okay, it's good answers. I don't think you need me anymore, Javier. You kind of got the whole thing sorted yourself. It's very good.
Well, I mean, it's always good to have like two heads.
It's true.
To give another thought to the question.
We'll have to get Marielle getting involved in these and helping you out, so we can get all the team working on this stuff. Okay, I think we're done then. Yeah. So let's call it a day for now, and then see everybody next time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Javier. Thanks, everyone. It's good. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.